Hello my viewers at home and welcome to my YouTube channel Daily Express. Please do well to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Also, alright my viewers at home, welcome to another episode of our broadcast today. Before this episode, we earlier talked about in our last episode we discussed about the UAG grant. Yes, the UAG grant, where we said that is not the real name of this grant you are expecting, but it serves as the working name. Then we also talked about the real name, which is US grant or Now Bank, that is NAW, that is Now Bank grant. Any of them is correct. This grant was organized by the Federated United African States government, that is US, under the Central Bank of Africa, known as New African World Bank. Okay. Then we also talked about the who formed the US, that is the founder and president, where we said the president of the Federated United African States government was Professor Bremi Ibrahim Olagore. Then we also talked about the who is the MD of the NAB Bank, and we said the managing director of NAB Bank is Frank Eshikezie. Then also too, we looked into the formation of the US, where we said the Union of African States, US, was formed by some African independent nations leaders to have a common government, protect and fight for African nations. Then talking about where it was formed, we said that it was formed in Casablanca, Morocco. And regarding founders, we talked about or listed Ahmed Ben Bella of Morocco, Ahmed Sekou Toure of Guinea, then Modibo Keita of Mali, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, then Kamas Abdul Nasser of Egypt, then Professor Leopold Segu of Senegal, Professor William Edward Buga Dit Dubious, an African American. Then also we did talked about Professor Bremi Ibrahim Olagore, who is a PA to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Pan African Youth Permanent English Secretary to Guinea government. Then talking about why was it formed, we said the US was formed by some African independent nations leaders who felt that there was a need for all African nations to be united, okay, or liberated and integrated, okay, which is the only way to be free from colonial control by foreign leaders. Then also too, talking about when it was initiated, we say it was US who initiated it in March 12, 1962. Okay. Then for whom it was formed, the US was formed for the Africans, present and future generations unborn. Who is Professor Brimi? We said we'll talk about Professor Brimi. Who does Professor Brimi Ibrahim Olagore stand for? We said he was the executive secretary of US. Okay, executive secretary of the US. Okay. Then also too, talking about yes, so Professor Brimi is of Edo State. Edo State is his state, and he He was the executive secretary of U.S. Born on August 22, 1943 in Uzeba in Uaag West government area of Edo State, Nigeria. Then he was appointed the executive secretary of U.S. by African Union constituted heads of states and leaders on January 31st, 2010 at African Union's summit at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Okay, then also too, we also talked about okay, we've talked about Brimi Abraham Olagore, who is Professor Brimi Abraham Olagore. Then moving forward, he was appointed the executive secretary of U.S. by African Union constituted heads of state and leaders on January 31st, 2010 at African Union Summit at Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Okay, and he now professorship in different universities and taught in universities, taught in 7 universities and 3 colleges amongst Washington City University, USA, Golden Gate University, USA. Then before we look into this, okay, let's finish this and go straight to more revelations or more informations here. Then also too, he also attended Blackwell Collect USA City College of Washington, DC, USA, University of Moscow, Russia. He was a visiting professor to 44 universities in various parts of the world: Asia, Europe, America, Russia, and Africa. Okay. Then moving forward, let's look at what is different. What is the difference between OAU or AU and the US? Okay, let's look at that. The OAU Organization of African Union was later changed to African Union as a non-governmental organization of African nations leaders, but a US of the Federation of the United African States, both home and diaspora, as the government of African continent, common currency, common armed forces, common bank, common police, and common every, everything nations have. Now bank, talking about now bank, now new African World Bank is the US World Bank. Thus, the grant we are about to disburse is called and known as either US grant or now bank grant, which is meant to eradicate poverty amongst citizenry, home and diaspora, and develop African nations and empower citizens, both home and diaspora. Thus, grant is not only for Nigeria but African nations. Bye for now, please, and ensure you subscribe to our channel. Okay.